So what is a seller's disclosure and why is it important in a real estate transaction to both buyers and to sellers? I'm Justin Woodall with Woodall Realty Group, and today I just want to share with you what is a seller's disclosure, why is it important, what do you need to know about it? Because whether you're a buyer or a seller, you need to know what it is and you need to know why it's important. So basically what a seller's disclosure is anytime a seller gets ready to put their house on the market, we have a document 5 or 6 pages long that the seller completes, basically explaining anything that they know about the house. So included in that seller's disclosure will be things like the age of the home, the age of the heating and air units, the age of water heater, any insurance claims that have happened with the house, any problems that they're aware of with the house, anything about termites, anything about an HOA, what appliances are included, what's not included. So it really just kind of gives the buyer a good overview of what's available. And the reason that's important, as a buyer, you want to know what you're buying. And also as a seller, the law says in the state of Georgia, as a seller, if you are aware of problems or you know that there's a material defect in the house or a latent defect, hidden defect, by law, you're required to disclose it. Now, Georgia's also a buyer beware state. So as a buyer, we encourage you to do a home inspection. It's buyer beware. So you must figure out what you're buying, know what you're buying, and discover any problems with the house. But it also states that if the seller is aware of problems, they are by law required to disclose it. And so I've been selling real estate for almost 20 years, and there's only been a couple of instances where we've run into problems here with something, buyer getting into the house and saying, hey, there's a problem, the seller didn't disclose it. So what happens in that situation? Well, one, if you're a buyer and you feel like you were intentionally defrauded, I would say call your attorney because that becomes a legal matter at that point. But it's challenging because the burden of proof is on you as a buyer. You must be able to prove that the seller did have knowledge of that defect, did have knowledge of that problem, and intentionally did not disclose it. And if you can prove that, you may have some legal recourse. Again, I'm not an attorney, so consult your attorney if that's the case. But also as a seller, if you do know of a problem, the safest, best thing for you to do is to disclose it. And I always say, if in doubt, disclose it. That way you don't set yourself up for a lawsuit potentially down the road. If the seller does have a problem, if they can somehow prove that, hey, you knew about this problem in the crawl space, or you knew about this problem with the roof, or you knew about this, whatever it may be, if they can prove that you knew about it somehow, some way, and you failed to disclose it, then they may have some legal recourse against you as a seller. So it's important to both buyers and sellers. It makes the transaction go a lot smoother. It makes it a lot more transparent, and it keeps sellers from hiding things, lets a buyer know what they're buying. So seller's disclosure, if you're trying to do a deal on your own without a real estate agent, make sure you have some form of a seller's disclosure in that contract. And if you're working with a realtor, they should have that as a part of the deal. If they don't, you need to ask about it. If we can do anything to help you, friend, family member, let us know.